providing outright gifts, providing gifts out of income, ensuring your liability and maximising your pensions. So if we say those are almost simple options for clients, what are the more complex or esoteric or less simple ones that you're talking to your clients about?
Yeah, so it comes down to the clients and then all the options they have, and it is a combination of using all the options. So the more, complicated options available would be trusts, family investment companies. They're the two we're seeing being used the most. So with regards to trusts, they're good where you have generally a smaller pot as well for people to invest in, because they're up to 325,000. There's no real tax issues of putting those funds into a trust. Anything above that, generally there's an initial tax charge of 20%. That's per individual, so if you've got a husband and wife, you can put up to 650,000 into trust. There have been changes to trusts over the last few years, and from a tax perspective, it's made it less beneficial, but as long as it's for a protection purpose, or if you've got beneficiaries that are unknown at the moment, so possibly future generations, it's still a really effective tool to plan for inheritance tax. And alongside trusts, we also use family investment companies. So these are effectively just regular limited companies structured in a way where, similar to a trust, the settlor or the person contributing the funds still maintains control by virtue of the directorship and share capital. And then the assets are passed down to the beneficiaries, so they'd have the capital control within the company. It's still subject to the 7-year rule, but you can put any amounts into a family investment company. So generally we see larger amounts going in, and it's a little bit more flexible, so that you can have loans, so the money comes in as a loan, or share capital. And then typically you'd pass on the loan to the beneficiary as well, if it's pure estate planning. But again, they do cash flow kind of forecasting to see how much of that loan you may want.
And I think with family investment companies, could an existing company be converted into these family investment company vehicles, or does it have to be from scratch?
So both. Obviously a clean company is just the best way to go about it. But if you have an existing business, if it's an investment company or a trading business looking to transfer across, then it is possible to convert those into a FIC in a tax efficient manner. So it is, yeah, absolutely. So we've seen trusts and family investment companies as really useful tools for long-term inheritance tax planning, typically where you expect to survive the 7 years. Are there any investment options available where potentially the 7 years may not apply and still you want to protect for inheritance tax?
Yeah, exactly. So there are investments that qualify in tax terminology terms for business property relief or business relief, where actually you only need to be holding those investments for 2 years for them to qualify for outside of your estate for inheritance tax purposes. Now, these can manifest themselves in a number of ways to qualify for business relief, whether that's a company that you've owned for a long time, whether that's something like AIM stocks, so higher risk investments. The one that we often typically see with clients is investment structures that have been set up for the reason to qualify for business relief. So historically, these are pretty well diversified investment vehicles that have long track records and ensure that you're qualifying for business relief. I would always say that the caveat for clients is that it is still an investment and it still has inherent investment risk associated with it. Having said that, as an option to discuss with clients, especially those who might have left planning a little later than the others, having this optionality where you might have an investment that you only have to hold for 2 years before it's free from inheritance tax, certainly is quite a good option to have. If anything that we've talked about today has resonated with you, we would be very happy to have an exploratory conversation to discuss where we can add value to your circumstances.